Hey everyone. So I've been watching all these crazy DUI checkpoint videos on YouTube, and I got to thinking, okay, what is Arizona's spiel on DUI checkpoints? And there's a huge toss up here because Arizona court says that checkpoints are constitutional as long as they meet certain requirements, like they're set up on a main road, they're set up and people are notified that they're going to be there. There's a whole bunch of stuff. It's holiday events, late night hours, high traffic areas, and near event locations. Officers ask you to present your driver's license so that they can license and registration and proof of insurance so that they can tell if you're drunk, which basically it's all a DUI checkpoint is a checkpoint to get your information. They don't care if you're drunk or not. They really don't care. That's just a plus for them. And I find it funny that they're running on this idea here. Let's see, this right here. Implied consent laws in Arizona means you agreed to submit to a field sobriety test or a BAC testing when you received your driver's license. You can refuse to perform field sobriety tests. However, this can lead to automatic consequences such as license suspension, even if you're not actually convicted. And then you see the ARS number here. Now, here's the kick. ARS 1321. We pull this up. This is the this is the law. This is what they're talking about. Implied consent. Now, the trick here is that this actually says that you can deny or refuse a DUI checkpoint, and it's funny the way that they put this. A person who operates a motor vehicle in this state gives consent subject to Section 244, paragraph 34, or Section 281381, 281382, 281383, to a test or tests of a person's blood, breath, urine, or other bodily substance for the purpose of determining alcohol concentration or drug content if the person is arrested for any offense arising out of acts alleged to have been committed in violation of this chapter, or Section 4244, paragraph 34, while a person is driving or in control of a motor vehicle while under the influence of intoxicating liquor as prescribed in this section, or drugs. Now, here's the thing. It says on here that they have to have reasonable suspicion that you are drunk or on drugs before they can force you to take any of these things. If you get pulled over at a DUI checkpoint and they go license, registration, insurance, you hand it over and then they go, okay, blow into this, you can say no, because they have not articulated any suspicion that you're drunk. They just asked you for it because they think that they can. It outlines it right here. The test or tests chosen by the law enforcement agency shall be administered at the direction of a law enforcement officer having reasonable grounds to believe that the person was driving or in actual physical control of the motor vehicle in this state, either while under influence, or if the person is 21 years of under 21 with suspicious liquor in the person's body. It literally says it right there, that you only have to abide by the checkpoint if the officer actually has reasonable grounds to believe you're drunk or on drugs. After an arrest, a violator shall be requested to submit to a successfully complete any test or tests prescribed by subsection A of this section. If the violator refuses, the violator shall be informed that their license or permit to drive will be suspended or denied for 12 months or for 2 years for a subsequent refusal within the period of 84 months. Unless the violator expressly agrees to submit to and successfully completes the test or tests, a failure to expressly agree to the test or complete the test is deemed a refusal. Violator shall also be informed that blah, blah, blah. But it lays it out here that if you are not drunk and you don't have any drugs on you and they can't prove or even... refusal in itself is not grounds for them to believe you are drunk or high. It lays it out right here. They have to have reasonable suspicion that you are drunk or high in order for them to force you to do this. And if they force you to do this and it comes up clear, you have nothing to worry about. But you can still sue because they didn't have probable cause. This all falls down throughout this whole thing of, reasonable suspicion. They have to have reasonable suspicion. It's not just, well, they refused. Well, yeah, I don't want to blow in a freaking tube because I don't drink. I don't want to have my blood drawn because 1, I don't like needles, and 2, I don't like having blood drawn. It's like, that's mine. I made it. It's mine. I want to keep it. I don't want to do freaking, the standing on the one leg and, nose things. 1, because tipping my head back hurts like hell because I've got arthritis of the neck. I've got bad balance because my neck is damaged. I can still drive. I can still turn my head, but doing the tipping back and then the looking... I have problems looking down. I have to physically lower my upper body so that I can look down properly. I'm not going to pass any of these field sobriety tests because I have arthritis of the neck and I have damage to my sternum. Oh, but you can do this and that. No, I'm not going to blow in a tube and be submitted to this ridicule by a cop because they think, oh, I can do this, I can do that, no problem. It's like, I don't like checkpoints because I don't think that them stopping, like, it literally points out on here, where is it? Yeah, despite being stopped at a checkpoint, you still have certain rights. Refusing. You can refuse a field sobriety test, such as walking a straight line, a preliminary breath test. However, if you are arrested under suspicion, Arizona's applied consent law requires you to take a breathalyzer, blood test, urine test. Refusing to take that test they can suspend your license. Yeah, if you're under arrest, if they place you under arrest, then you take the tests. You prove them wrong, and then you sue them because they had no legal grounds to arrest you in the first place. But there's a whole thing on here somewhere. Yeah, an officer needs probable cause when a higher standard than reasonable suspicion to make an arrest. There's a whole thing on here somewhere. Stating what they have to do, like stopping every third or fourth car basically they count cars. They're like, okay, we stopped this one, that one can go. That fourth one I'm going to stop, and then that one and that one can go, and the third one I'm going to stop. That's how they have to do it. They can't just stop everybody. But that itself falls under selective stopping. And that right there is a violation. The implied consent, they have to have probable cause to believe that you are drunk or high. They arrest you without probable cause just because you said no, and you pass the test, then you get to sue because they arrested you under false pretenses, and they basically falsify a record saying, well, there was probable cause because they said no. Or there's probable cause because I smelled alcohol on their breath, even though they tested 0 and blood test was 0 and there was no drugs. And they point out this. A person who operates a motor vehicle under this gives consent. And then they give these things. First is 4244 34. Let's see. Person who is under 21 years of age to drive. Here, I'll highlight this for you right here. Let's see. 34. This one right here. Person who is under 21 years of age to drive or be in physical control of a motor vehicle while there is any suspicious liquor in the person's body. That is one that you have to. If you're under 21 and you're drunk, you have to submit to a test. But again, that falls under probable cause. Then it goes to 1381. 1381, driving or actual physical control. It's unlawful under these. It's unlawful under these conditions, and we've got under the influence of liquor or drugs, a vapor release substance containing toxic substance or combination of liquor, yada, yada, yada. If the person has alcohol concentration of 0.8, while there is a drug defined in their body, if the vehicle is a commercial vehicle that requires a person to obtain commercial license, and yeah. So basically, if you are in this whole subsection A, if you're in subsection A of this, you have to present or give a breath test or blood or whatever if you're drunk. You only have to present it if you're drunk per the law. The law says if you've got drugs and alcohol in your system, you have to consent to a test. Then it goes to 1382. Unlawful. It's unlawful for a person to drive or be in actual physical control of a vehicle if they're drunk or high. And they've got all these different things, fines, privileges revoked, more fines. And then it goes to 1383, aggravated driving or physical control while under the influence. This is if you're stopped for doing crazy stuff while driving, and they test you, because everything here on the other laws all falls under the umbrella is of if you are drunk and they can prove it or have a reasonable suspicion that you're drunk, and it even says it's not even reasonable. It's not even a reasonable suspicion. It actually is probable cause. They have to have probable cause to arrest. Right here. An officer needs probable cause, a higher standard than reasonable suspicion to make an arrest under the DUI checkpoint. Now, they have all these things where they say, well, if you're stopped at a DUI checkpoint, you have to do these things. You have to agree to the test. You have to blow in the breathalyzer. Well, legally speaking, per the actual written laws, the Arizona revised statutes, these ones, these ones, these ones, these ones, and these ones, that is five laws, 5 written laws in our statutes that specifically say you only have to abide by the DUI checkpoint requests to do a breathalyzer or walk the line if they have probable cause to believe you're drunk. If you pull up to a DUI checkpoint and they go, license and registration, please, and you give them the stuff, and then they go, blow in this, if you're not drunk, you can say no, or no thank you. I don't want to do that. Then they have to go, well, I have probable cause to believe you're drunk. Well, what's your probable cause? Because if you don't have probable cause to believe that I'm drunk, me specifically saying no isn't it. If they take me out of the vehicle and force me to do a test, then I sue because they didn't have probable cause. Especially, I've been stopped on my quad. I just, putting around in the desert. This is when I had the green one, out in the desert, taking the trails, and I come off the trails, and I get stopped. Literally, there's DUI checkpoint this way, and I'm crossing the highway, or, well, not the highway, but the parkway, and coming down the hill, and the cop's like, you went around that checkpoint. I was like, no, I didn't. I've been out in the desert riding around. He wanted me to go back and do the checkpoint. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I've no drugs, no alcohol, just out having fun. Cop let me go because he couldn't prove that I was drinking. He couldn't prove that I skipped the DUI checkpoint on the parkway because I was riding a UTV. It's like I was on a quad, 4-wheeler. I was just riding around in the desert. He could see me in the desert riding around on the trails. And he still tried to pull you have to. And then when I said no, he's like, just go. Yeah, if they can't prove or don't have probable cause to say that you're drunk or that you're on drugs, they can't legally force you to take a test until they arrest you. In order to do the arrest, they have to have probable cause, and this all falls under all 5 of these laws. Now, if you do end up going to court over it, like they arrest you, they force you to do the tests, they come back clean, and then they still try to ticket you, then you go to court and you go, okay, 1, I tested 0, I blew 0, nothing in my blood, nothing in my urine, nothing in my hair, or whatever test that they take you to. And then you go to court and you go, okay, I was stopped, and they forced me to take the tests after they arrested me with no probable cause. And then not only does it get thrown out, you also get to sue for, false arrest and, deprivation of rights. It's like, I'm a big police supporter, but here's the big but. I don't support bad cops, bad policing, shitty departments, and that's pretty much what we have around here because, we've got people with, multiple felony warrants, revoked licenses, revoked insurance, revoked registration, driving around and getting pulled over for speeding And the cops, knowing the person has warrants and doesn't have a driver's license or anything, they give them a sign here, signature to appear, and then they let them drive away. You know that he has a felony warrant, yet you let him drive away without a license, registration, or insurance. You tell me to my face that you do not believe that a judge has the authority to issue trespass or harassment paperwork against somebody, telling them that they cannot speak to you. Oh, the judges can't tell somebody not to speak to you. That's above their... No, that's not how the law works. Telling me that my paperwork here is no longer valid because they had an issue or whatever, and it's like, yeah, these are going. These are good for. They said 2 or 4 years. January 19th, 2024. So, saying that he didn't violate this court paper, not even 8 months after being served and sentenced. Not even 8 months after being sentenced, they said, "Oh, the court documents are invalid because they got canceled or however the hell they put it." It's like, no, that's not how this works. That's not how this works. The order is good for life, unless it's an injunction. Injunctions are 2 years. Actual court papers, actual court orders for criminal cases are lifetime. And I already spoke with the courts. That court order is a lifetime. The only way that it can be dropped is if I go in and request to have my name taken off. And it's like, we have all these constant issues. And, out of the entire department, I've seen like four or five good cops. The rest that I've run across are, shitheads. It's the best thing I can say is they're just shitheads. Cops telling me that somebody coming to my house and calling me the N-word and screaming the N-word at me and saying that they're going to bash my head in with a hammer is not a violation of the harassment injunction, because they never stepped foot on my property. They spoke it from 2 houses down while yelling at me. It's like, it doesn't matter where he stood. He was still talking to me, yelling at me, and threatening me. But it's like, that's where I'm sitting. That's where I'm sitting with all of this. But, there's all these misconceptions here in Arizona about, DUI checkpoints. And this, like, I went down a rabbit hole. I mean, look at all all the things I looked up. I went through every one of these things all the way. I mean, look at all this stuff. You go to this one. Look at all this. I went through this. I went through all of this. Everything. All of this. I went through all of this. And I did it on my phone while I was watching or streaming it on my TV. And I was like, man, they really tell you that you have no rights when dealing with a DUI checkpoint. You just have to pull up, stop your car, take the test, and then you can go. It's like, no, you only have to take the test if they have probable cause to believe that you're drunk. The other checkpoints, the border checkpoints that are within the U.S. border, everybody, there's all those videos of people, pulling up and they refuse to speak, or they hold up the signs and whatnot, and then they refuse. It's like, there's one down the way from us, heading to, I can't even remember where it is, but you drive out, you come back. It's like it's not on the way to, it's only on the way back from, and you just pull up and they go, "Are you a U.S. citizen?" And you go, "Yeah," and they go, "Have a good day." I've pulled up to one, and the guy stopped me, and it's like I was in the work truck. I was in the work truck, and just it was one of those shits and giggles days. I had my sombrero, my SA sombrero, and I had that, and it's like I pull up and I pull up the bandana, I'm wearing the sombrero, I pull up to the thing, and he goes, "Are you a U.S. citizen?" I was like, "Okay." And he goes, just go. Because he knew that I was messing with him. It's like, dude in a mask and a sombrero, and goes, "Okay." It's like, yeah. It's as easy as just going, "Yes, yeah, uh-huh." Oh, are you bringing anything like the agricultural stops and heading into California? Are you bringing any this, that, or another? And you go, "No." Okay, have a good day. As long as there's nothing visible for them to look at, then you just drive away. Just say no and drive away. Even if you are, I mean, I'm not your boss. I'm not your boss. If you are, tell him or don't tell him. I'm not your daddy. But if you're not, just go no and drive away. You don't have to play I'm not giving you my ID, nothing, this, that, and another. It's like, just DUI checkpoint, license, registration, proof of insurance. Yes, it's bullshit that they're going to run your info just to check you for warrants. They're going to check you for warrants. They're going to check your license to see if it's good. They're going to check your insurance and registration to make sure that you're good. It's all BS anyways, but as long as that's all good, you can just tell them, "No, I'm not going to blow in a freaking tube for you. No, I don't drink. I haven't been drinking." But yeah, this rant has gone on long enough. But yeah, just read up on the laws. I mean, this is a law firm. This is a law firm in Arizona, I think. Phoenix. Yeah. This is they tell you that you don't have to do it unless they can prove with a reasonable doubt that you are drunk. So that's it. Have fun.